Hello, dear listener. You are listening to
What are we listening
Geekshow
to,
Help Desk.
Lando?
No, Arcade. I knew I was going to screw it up. I knew it was going to happen.
Welcome to the Geek Show.
I was not ready.
Oh,
I'm
he
not
does.
prepared. I have
So
failed.
easy. I could do this.
You
It's
screwed
okay,
up too every once in a while,
Lando.
Tony.
I'm gonna give you a hug.
Thank you, Jaron. I
Sometimes
appreciate
Tony
that.
still says Geek Show.
This is
Or
the arcade
Gadget
show.
Spot. Yeah.
We talk about video games and
It
playing
just-
video games, and sometimes we talk about graphics cards. Oftentimes we talk about graphics cards, and oftentimes way too much detail.
As
But I
often
think you
as
guys
we
enjoy
can.
it.
Yep.
I
Let me
think it's
just-
boring.
Let me just point this out right now. If you were to count words, this is going to be Lando's highest word count episode.
Oh, tell me about
ever.
it.
100%.
So this is the.
It's
the,
not his line's not going to be flatlined
exactly.
on Tony's screen right now.
Help Desk and Arcade are recorded as one file, and so even without looking, I know, or without listening, I know just by looking at the lines. Okay, that's where Help Desk and
wave
in
files, or
between
the waveforms.
ended. I look at the waveform. That's where in between ended. That's where, and then everywhere on there. That's Arcade because
That's
Lando.
a dead person.
Lando
That's just a
only
flat
has,
line.
3 comments during that 40
I
minutes.
have to be engaged and like paying attention right now and like being part of the show.
That's
and
right.
like this is a good change. Maybe I should just like host this show all the time and like keep things happening.
And you're the only one that's actually worked in the video game industry.
I know, right?
How's that?
That was a
Anyway.
fun claim to fame when I first started the show, but now it's kind of lost its luster, I think. Anyway, let's introduce our panel of illustrious hosts of awesomeness, starting with Jaron.
Hi, I'm Jaron. That's it.
Yep. Owen, tell us about
Hey,
you.
that's me as well. My name is Owen, and you can follow me here.
And Tony.
Hey, check me out on Twitter at QuadTTony or on other Geek Show podcasts. And my camera is really washed out still, and I don't know why. But don't forget about our host, who is less washed out. He's Lando.
Yeah, I'm looking pretty good. I got 2 lights up here shining at my face. I'm looking pretty nice. Got a nice camera, right eye level. Like everything's going great for Lando
Did you
today.
plan? Did you plan all that for this week, or was that always the way it is?
It's been this way for a long time.
Oh, okay.
Ever since I've been doing the green screen, I found the green screen works better with better lighting.
Can you lower the green screen past the wires and that desk that's behind you?
I need to work on that. That's future Lando's problem. Here's the problem,
okay.
guys. I don't work from home anymore. So, like, the first time I was in my office was, since we recorded the show last week, was earlier today. Like, that's how little I'm in my home office nowadays. So yeah, this is the arcade show. We're gonna talk about some video game type stoof. Let's go start with Jaron talking about some bad news first. Let's get that out of the way.
Wait.
Well,
do we
Mine's
have-
all bad news.
Oh, sorry.
have
We
any-
We have emails. Sorry, I totally
yeah, we
forgot
do
about
have
that.
an email. Yeah.
Whoa, that was too loud. Sorry, guys.
We're all
We're all
discombobulated today.
Washed out and too loud.
Yeah. Got an email from Benjamin. He says, Did the thrifty have the ability to wiggle?
The
That-
what now?
Did the thrifty have the ability to wiggle? And
I am
then it's
holding
a-
back all of the jokes right now.
Why? Let's see.
The Thrifty 50?
Maybe he's talking about thrifty. Let me continue. We'll see where he's going with this.
I'm assuming he's talking about a Thrifty 50. I'm trying to
Yes.
determine which one.
Is it the one Owen talked about last week? The lap pillow?
Anyway,
I
he
don't know
says
how that would wiggle.
something
That's
wiggles.
just you have to wiggle underneath it.
There was a small developer attempt to make the original PSVR functional as a PC headset. I did look into it back in the day, but was super buggy.
Yeah.
Think what you
makes
will
sense.
about Meta, but the Meta Quest 2, possibly 3, have some nice features. The AirLink ability really opens up what you can do with it, with a good router streaming to it. I agree.
It's
AirLink
true. Yeah.
is pretty awesome. Back when I was big into VR gaming, it's freeing to be able to be in a VR world, especially Half-Life Alyx, without wires around you. Then he says, it's interesting to see how far Wi-Fi has come. The data that Wi-Fi 6 can push compared to where it started back in 802.11b days.
Oh my goodness, that's crazy. If you would have
Yeah.
told me back then where it's at today,
Just
I'd
how
been like,
stable it is now compared to how it was back then.
Oh, 100%. I remember when I first worked for UVU as a part-time employee right before my religious sojourn. I worked there for about 6 months, and the team I was on managed the Wi-Fi. And I remember thinking about Wi-Fi speeds, and they were getting the new stuff in. It's like, wow, this is amazing. Back when, what was after B? The AG stuff?
Yeah. G.
Yeah, that was when we first started transitioning over to that. It was like, wow, this is amazing. But if I go back in time and tell that guy today, like, this is where we'll be, I would have been like, no, you're wrong. Like, that's dumb. It'll never be that good. But here we are.
I'm still a
we are.
hardcore wired guy because of that. Like, I just,
Me
even
too.
though Wi-Fi 6 is coming up on fast enough speeds to not be noticeable.
The only way you can match wired is if your wireless stuff is all in the same room. Because 6 has a very poor penetration.
It's a
material
high, because it's a
penetration.
high frequency, right?
Exactly.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
if you're in the same room as it, then yeah, it's crazy. It's super, super awesome.
Which
But
in the
if you're-
corporate world, you'll have access points everywhere. So oftentimes
Exactly.
you are.
Yeah, line of
but in
sight.
your house, your average person has one, perhaps 2 routers, sometimes 3 if you're in like a really big house, and there's still at least one room between you and the router most of the time.
Not
So-
to mention like conduit and
Yep.
AC ducting and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
a bunch of
so-
metal stuff.
Wires.
But yeah, Wi-Fi's pretty awesome in general. Was that the end of the email?
What was the
It
question?
was, yeah.
Oh, okay.
There was no question.
Just a member.
I still want to know about
I
the
think-
wiggling thrifty.
I think he wants us to test the PlayStation VR, the original, to see if it still works on PC. Because you can pick those up for like $50 refurbished from GameStop sometimes. Yep.
Then I'd have 2 VR headsets that I don't use, so I don't.
That's 2 more than
don't need
me.
that.
All right, Jaron, tell us about the bad news at EA. Let's get it out of the way. I hate this part of the
Didn't
show.
we
It's
talk
just
about
it's a
this
reoccurring
already?
theme.
No, we talked about Sony.
Oh,
That's the problem.
No.
It happens every week.
I think
this
we talked about
I
EA's
hate it.
layoffs too.
No, this happened on February 29th? Or it was updated February 29th.
Yeah, I think we talked about it. We can talk about it again.
No, this sucks.
I
ahead,
don't.
Jared.
Anyway, more job cuts at EA. They've shut down a lot of future projects, namely in their IP licensing category. So the Mandalorian Bounty Hunter game that Respawn was making is no more. And it's interesting news because EA is supposed to be making a Black Panther game as
And
well.
an Iron Man game.
Yeah, and an Iron Man game. So just more unfortunate news in a unfortunate industry right now. It sucks. Sorry, everybody.
It's just, like I said, we talk about it every stinking week, and I'm
Because
so
it happens
sick
every
of it.
week. It's crazy. It is, it's like I think I said it last week. It's common for, or it was common for developers to have a period of shrink and grow based on what they're working
Projects,
on.
right? Yeah.
Projects. But this is way beyond anything that the industry has seen up till this point, where these are companies, profitable companies that are doing well, that are having to make cuts because their larger owners are just like, nah,
Shareholders,
we need to
right?
please those shareholders.
And this happens so much, we confuse it with stories we talked about last week. And I confirmed it was just Sony that we talked about last week.
Okay, well,
not
there
EA.
you go. Yeah.
It's just happening so much.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe this is what you just described, and it's just a super cycle of games that released last year that
It
But
feels
the
bigger than
layoffs,
that to
the
me.
layoffs aren't as big.
it has to be.
The layoffs
It's a
aren't
little
as
foreboding,
big.
though. Like
Yeah.
in the game, like what good games do we see coming from these studios now if they're laying everybody off? Like,
Well, the problem is it just means the people that are there are going to have to pick
Gonna
up
have
their
to work
slack.
harder, yeah.
They're just going to have to work harder. And,
Well, if you're at WB, they want to double down on the live service games.
oh my gosh,
So this year they released Suicide Squad, which got horrible reviews. It tanked. Nobody bought it. Like concurrent
only
users
that-
on Steam is in the hundreds worldwide.
and not only that, it's still a month later having server issues.
yeah,
Are you serious?
Yep.
And contrast this to what WB did last year with Harry Potter or Hogwarts Legacy. I mean, it was the top selling game of last year. That was not live service. It was a single player game, and it sold like crazy.
Tens
so-
of millions of copies.
Tens of millions of copies. They made them a ton of money. So when you see those results and contrast them so close to one another, what do you think you would do if you were a leader of WB Games? Would you double down on this live service stuff, or would you go for maybe the single player that made you a ton of money last year?
This is a tough
Yeah.
choice.
Tough choice.
Yeah.
Apparently,
Wanna
it
make
is a
money?
tough choice for WB because they're saying they're going to be doubling down on live service games.
Wrong choice.
That
In case you're
was-
wondering.
Yeah.
Yes, they're looking to avoid volatile markets, so they really don't understand the market that they're in right now. So they say that's a great business when you have a hit like Hogwarts Legacy. It makes the year look amazing.
So,
Unfortunately, we also have disappointments. We just released Suicide Squad this quarter, which is not as strong. It just makes it very volatile.
So they're just in for that recurring. They want that steady recurring revenue.
And so, even according to their own word, it's volatile. But then they're going to double down on that volatility with live service games because live service games,
yeah.
it's either hit or miss, and miss is a lot more common than a hit.
Exactly.
But the hits can be huge, in all fairness. Like,
Yeah.
if you think about
Yeah,
WoW,
but
it's even
most-
still.
Most of those hits are lightning in a bottle, unfortunately.
It's
You know what I
true.
mean?
And-
It's just
And
like
they
the
can-
film, and it's just like the film and music industry. Like you're dealing
Yeah.
with art and whatever. Like
the chances of being able to reproduce something that someone else made and have the same level of success.
that's why you
is
see so
just
many remakes,
poor.
right? That's why you see so many remakes and part twos. You know, in movies and stuff. Like people are like, "Wow, that did really well.
Yeah.
Let's just redo that."
They go on to say, rather than just launching a one and done console game, how do we develop a game around, for example, Hogwarts Legacy or Harry Potter? That is a live service where people can live and work and build and play in the world on an ongoing basis. Why would we want to work in that world? We work in our own world.
I don't go to-
I go to the worlds like that to not work.
Yeah, that seems to be the new
Get
thing, right?
Away from
so
work.
tone
Life's-
deaf. It's crazy.
Life Sims seems to be the new crafting sims, and life sims are the new rage.
Well, so I had a coworker pitch me this game. I can't remember what it's called. I'm gonna pull it up here on Steam.
Probably
it's
Nightingale.
No, it's something
Then it's
different.
probably
It's an idle
Enshrouded.
game, but you can use JavaScript to program it.
Oh, this is a
I'm
super
like-
nerd game, is what you're saying.
It's called Bitburner, is what it is. I'm like, this is awesome. I can use my programming skills to like be awesome in this game. And I got playing it, and it felt just like work. And I'm like,
Yeah.
nope,
No,
Nope.
thank
thanks,
you.
not
friend.
for me.
Yep.
So I totally get that, not wanting to work.
Well, and I
in my
think they're
games.
saying, too in this that they want to shift focus away from console and make mobile games more of a thing. Live
Yeah.
service mobile games. And it's like, are you guys?
They got the wrong
do you
advisor
not-
whispering in their ear.
Yeah, they
do.
do.
Not remember BlizzCon 2020?
You got phones, don't
Don't
you?
you guys have phones? Diablo Mobile? Come on. Oh,
They got booed off the stage.
they did. They basically
That was
did.
awesome.
Somebody
this
need to
guy-
hire a Tony to come advise.
I just,
Boo.
if only,
Dude,
man.
like-
I would, I feel like I would be such a good video game consultant for these kinds of companies.
Let's
You'd be
do
like
it.
that.
Let's
You'd be
do
like
it.
that kid. You'd be like that kid on Big. You know how that kid gets turned into a grown up and then goes and
Yeah.
works for a toy
Be
store.
like, look,
Yeah,
let me
that's
tell
a
you
boom-
what's.
That's a boomer movie. I don't know what you're talking about.
Let me tell you what's. It's
You're
Boo,
already-
but it's Tom Hanks. So
It also has a little bit of a weird relationship between the kid and the
Yeah.
adult lady. Anyway,
Yep,
Yeah.
totally
It was-
boomer.
it was the 90s.
No, it was the 80s.
Magical
80s.
time.
It was not the 80s.
So,
All right, Tony. Tell us
anyway.
about. So you have something here called an MSI Claw. Is this like an arcade game for me to play?
It's a new claw game, and MSI is releasing a home version of
Can
it.
I win little squeaky toys
Yep.
with
You-
three
I mean,
eyeballs
they
that
cost-
look up at me and say the claw?
They
Is that
cost
what we're talking about here?
extra. They cost extra, but no. We're talking about the MSI Claw, which is the handheld PC, gaming PC that MSI announced back
Ooh.
at CES or around that time. And they've given out a whole bunch of information on it up until this point, except for an actual release date. And they decided to give a release date out today, and it's next week. It's just like, hey, we're doing it next week.
That's the best kind of release date where it's like really soon. It's like, hey, guess what? It's coming like tomorrow.
March
Really?
March 8th. So what is that, Friday or something?
That's Friday. Yeah.
And they will ship from MSI on the 12th. They'll start shipping them out, and they'll be available in third-party retailers as well, Best Buy, Micro Center, etc. Now, the reason that MSI Claw is interesting is because it's the first handheld to come to market that uses Intel's new platform, the Ultra Core Ultra, Ultra Core, whatever they decided their stupid naming convention is now. And it's a real test for their ARC graphics prowess on the mobile devices. So it'll be really interesting to see how this compares to the stuff that everyone else uses AMD at this point.
We previously reported that it would not have a VRR screen because their marketing peeps don't know what they're talking about.
Apparently, yeah.
But it will have a VRR screen.
Yep.
So this, again, it becomes more interesting to me. I'm really curious how that Intel chip's going to perform, battery life and performance.
Exactly. Lando.
So I have a question.
Yes.
Jaren, review when?
Yeah, you going to order this?
No, I wish I could.
I mean, that's on par, right? Every new handheld you buy?
I recently bought a gaming laptop, and I can't afford this.
He's out of the he's out of the gadget streamline right now. He's got to
spent his quota.
Yeah.
I need
as
at
did I.
least 2 weeks, guys.
So review in 3 or 4?
Okay, I can
No.
commit.
Now we're talking.
Perfect. That's the important part of the story, I think.
So
The listener must know.
we'll be getting a lot of reviews from actual gaming websites and things, gaming YouTube channels that we'll be able to report on next week or the week after.
Sure.
I'm sure MSI seeded units to the bigger names, weeks ago, and so they'll have day one, they'll have reviews out. But yeah, interesting stuff. Just like Jaren said, how's that Intel SoC going to compare to the AMD stuff? Because
If it compares favorably, it could be a big deal, right?
It could be, but it would need to compare favorably both power-wise and power-wise. Power as far as graphical ability and power as far as
I know what you're talking about. I followed.
Power used.
I got you.
So,
I got you.
And you're not getting much from the form factor over the Ally. It looks exactly the same as the Ally, pretty much.
super
just
similar.
different color.
Yep. So there you go.
All right. Owen, we're coming to you. I want to know why we're talking about AI in the arcade show and not the help desk show.
This is a Sony story. So, have you guys ever heard of Twitch?
Sony? Nope.
You ever heard of
I've heard of Twitch.
Okay, good. Well, have you ever seen a AI Twitch streamer?
Negative.
So-
No.
So, streamers that are not real, they're AI.
I've seen streamers that use a program to overlay an anime person or whatever as their person. They have those.
So there's a notable example of an AI streamer, Vidal987, also known as Neurosama.
I don't know. I
So-
like that name. That's cool.
Yeah, the first one was I could give or take, but the
Yeah.
Neurosama, I was
Yeah.
in for that.
Exactly.
But it's interesting because Sony has decided to make a patent to try and lock down a specific type of virtual streamer or AI streamer that would the AI specifically would be analyzing feedback data to determine level of spectator interest, right? Like, is what I'm doing working? Am I like they're trying to basically programmatically create viral streams, right? Twitch streams. Can they do that? Gathering training data from spectator feedback. So you're going to have people
From
be
the
like, you
chat.
suck. And like, that's really not going to go well. It's just going to become a Nazi so fast. Gathering,
No kidding.
like time to Nazi. That's the,
It's funny because it's
You know.
true.
gathering input data from a user's microphone or camera and performing facial analysis based on data received from the
I
camera.
hate this now.
So
Big brother, big brother.
So they're kind of talking about. There's also virtual tubers, VTubers, or virtual YouTubers. Like it's all. I'm sure you guys have seen that. Maybe not you and Jaren, but on TikTok, you can definitely tell when a video has been created by or is absolutely being narrated by AI, and they're so stupid. Like they take all the cognitive dissonance and the humanity is just gone. And while I appreciate the video, I hate the overlay of the words and the context. So, but it's one of their main reasons here is that they're trying to say, look, we could create an AI that basically could create a Twitch stream to any demographic we choose based on the data of that user that we are now compiling from their feedback and and whatever. So Just more AI.
This is one step closer towards bespoke shows made by AI for you on demand.
Like
Yep.
at what point? So you've heard of the conspiracy where we are just in a video game, right? Elon Musk
simulation,
a simulation. Elon Musk subscribes to this ideal somewhat. This is just one more step towards that. Now we are just watching AI, our creation,
So
stream and Twitch and do its thing. We no longer do anything. We just watch our creations
there is
from
an
a simulation standpoint.
absolutely fantastic episode of Futurama this latest season that deals with this. Jaron, did you finish it yet?
Not yet.
You wiener.
I am.
It's
He just took it.
Anyway, the episode. I think it's the last episode of this season. Let me find the list. I just want to give you the name so that if you could just skip ahead to this one. I recommend everyone go check out this episode. Let's see. We're in season 13.
Where can I watch it, Tony?
Hulu.
Hulu, yeah.
Only on Hulu.
Yep.
I pay for Hulu.
And oh no, I thought it would be easy to see what the name of the
Come on, Tony. Hurry up.
episode
You're still on the
was.
show, buddy.
I know. Oh, there it is. All the way down, season 11, episode 10.
IMDb would have probably been the better place to go there.
I am on
TVDB.
IMDb.
Oh, I thought you were on the Hulu site.
The TVDB is the best one.
Which one?
TVDB.
The TVDB.
Oh, I'll have to check that out.
The TVDB.
But yeah,
Yeah.
check out season
course.
11, episode 10, all the way down. Fantastic episode that deals with simulation stuff.
Interesting.
But, so anyway, so Sony put in a patent. That's not saying anything is for sure, but if they might have some virtual, more blending of humans and AI.
Hooray.
I hate everything about that story. Thanks, Owen. Let's talk about BG3. It's huge. We knew it's huge already, right? It's so popular.
So it is huge in that aspect, but it's also huge in size. So
Yeah.
Well, we knew that too, right? We've talked about this. Like
Wow,
it's
what?
like hundreds and hundreds of gigabytes, right?
Well, Microsoft's been talking about this, right? Like getting your physical copy. That's what
yeah,
you're talking
so
about.
does your guys' link, is it broken when you click on it? Or is that just me? Anyway, the point is they're going to release a physical version of Baldur's Gate 3 on Xbox. And
Correct.
because of that, they're actually going to have to push it back a couple weeks from their original launch date because they just figured out for sure that it won't fit on 3 discs, so it'll be the very
Barely.
first.
Right?
Yeah, just barely 560 some odd megabytes.
Yeah, they're only
over.
just they're
3
just
discs.
barely-
Ooh, they couldn't have compressed a couple textures.
That's what I was wondering. I was like, that seems
You
like
know what?
so close.
Cut out just a couple scenes or something.
No,
That doesn't make sense.
how dare you? Don't cut out anything. Just compress it more. Yeah, so it'll be the very first 4-disc game on the current gen systems.
That's
And-
nuts because 4K Blu-rays, they hold a ton of data.
Yeah.
A ton of data.
So how does that work in the real world? Do I have to like get up off my couch and change
Yeah.
the discs like
No,
ribbon style?
it'll be just like PC. Back when PC used to ship on multiple discs, you need every disc to install it, and then you
Oh,
just
but
put
then-
the play disc in,
Right.
and so it's all
Just
still
the-
running off the hard
Just
drive.
the active. Yeah. So just
Exactly.
the
So it's not like Ribbon back in the day where it's 5 discs and I gotta change it every time.
Yeah,
I go to
Ribbon
the
was like
store.
7 discs, wasn't it? Something like
Please
that.
I think it was
I
5.
loved Ribbon.
So
Great
I
game.
bought Grand Theft Auto 5 on PC when it first came out, and it was in disc form, and it was 7 DVDs.
Dang.
And it took 3 hours to install
Yeah.
that game.
Right?
That's nuts to me that Grand Theft Auto 5 still feels like a new, semi-modern game,
Yeah.
and it shipped on discs.
It shipped on the Xbox 360 and the
That's
PS3.
bonkers.
So anyway, yeah, I just thought that was really interesting. Baldur's Gate 3 continues to astound.
Huge.
Huge. All right, so here's another story I know nothing about. And so I'm going to say words that mean nothing to me, but mean something to somebody else. Saber Interactive may escape the Embracer touch of death.
The
Embracer, the horrible company that bought up a ton of video game studios
Oh yeah.
and then later shuttered a ton of them.
Were they always bad?
No, we
Embracer?
thought they were awesome for a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're like, oh, they're snapping up video
taking these-
game
That's right.
studios. There'd
Yeah.
be more stability for these studios. Yay.
For these small to medium-sized studios. Well,
Boy,
that
were
was
we
wrong.
wrong.
Nope. Nom, 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 nom.
Yeah. In fact, at the latest video game awards show, I can't remember which one it was. The host made fun of Embracer, and it cut to the CEO of Embracer being all like angry looking.
Oh, well, he deserves it. You know what?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he does. Anyway, Saber Interactive, owned by Embracer, they may escape the Embracer touch of death. They're
The
looking to
embracement of death.
Yeah, the embracement of death. Saber Interactive, they make Knights of the Old Republic online.
No. They are currently working on the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake.
I thought they were also the online stuff as well.
BioWare does.
Oh yeah,
the
they
Old
made it,
Republic.
but I thought they handed.
Did they hand it off to Saber?
Look that up while I
I
talk.
will.
Anyway, they are
Live Googling. Thanks,
they're
Tony.
looking to sell Saber for around $500 million, 3,500 employees. Why couldn't they just try to sell the other studios? Maybe they did and no one wanted them. I don't know, but
I thought the deal went through. Saber bought itself for 500 million. Isn't that what happened?
oh yeah, you're right. Saber would become a private company.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They bought themselves back.
Smart. That's
So-
probably the only way out of that.
It was a
trap.
group of private investors
Yeah.
that helped them with that.
So they've done a lot of neat games over the years. They're responsible for, or at least publishing. They do a lot more publishing than they do actual development. But Redout 2, SnowRunner, World War Z Aftermath, Evil Dead the game, Teardown, A Quiet Place the game. I don't know if that one was any good, or even I don't think that's out yet. But what was the other one? Oh, they're working on Space Marine 2, or and that game looks pretty cool. So yeah, they've done a lot of pretty good stuff and a couple of awesome things and a fair amount of mediocre. Like if you're fans of the genre, you'll enjoy the kind of games. So I'm
Was
glad
the-
they're surviving though. They they deserve it.
Yeah.
It
They
was
saw the writing. They saw the writing on the wall. We're getting out of here.
Yep.
So the game I was thinking of was Star Wars: The Old Republic, which is an MMO.
Yeah, that's BioWare.
BioWare got rid of it, so I was halfway right, but I don't think Saber picked it up.
Oh, okay.
So you're halfway wrong.
Yep.
Got it.
Glass
I like
half
that.
full.
So talking about
Glass
things
half
that are
full.
leaving and embracing death touches, we're saying goodbye to something called Yuzu.
Yeah.
I don't know what that
I'm
is.
so mad about this.
So we talked about this last week.
I love hosting
Lando.
this show.
We talked about this last week. Broadsword, by the way, Broadsword Online Games are who maintain the Old Republic at this point.
Well done.
Oof.
Yuzu is a really awesome Switch emulator. So you can emulate Switch on your PC and play Switch games on your PC.
Or handheld PC.
Or handheld PC is still a PC. But
This is a crazy precedent, this story.
yeah,
Well,
and so
it wasn't decided by the court, so it doesn't set a precedent.
exactly.
They just
Officially?
settled out. Right.
Yeah.
So
anyway,
last week we talked about this lawsuit that Nintendo started against them, basically saying you guys do way too much work that facilitates piracy, kind of
They say piracy at a colossal.
colossal
scale.
scale. So, and then
Couldn't
it took
any
about-
internet provider be accused of the same?
That's the thing is it's such
Right?
such a
Why stop
broad,
at these? Why,
it's such a
why
broad
stop at this
argument.
company? Yeah.
But I guess Yuzu or the people behind Yuzu, it scared them enough that they ended up just settling. The case didn't even go to court.
Wow.
Yuzu is paying Nintendo $2.4 million
Ooh.
and ceasing any development on the Yuzu emulator and taking down anything related to the Yuzu emulator
How-
off all of their websites.
How is Yuzu making money?
they had a
Patreon.
Patreon.
And they were pulling in pretty good money on Patreon. They were pulling in like $30K a month.
And that's what. Yeah.
But I don't know
Interesting.
how many people were developing for it, so who knows how many
How many mouths
salaries
had
that
to
spread
feed.
across. Yeah. So yeah, but 2.4 million was a lot more than I thought that they were going to get out of Yuzu. But Yuzu
Interesting
settled,
because
on that.
yeah,
And Citra, which they also made, which was a 3DS emulator, is also gone.
Oh, they included that in there too. Okay.
They did. So we lost two emulators for popular consoles. And while Nintendo is right, no one should be pirating games. Nintendo is horrible with game preservation,
Exactly.
that's true.
and this goes a long way in destroying that. So
Well, we've had this conversation so many times, right? If you make the content easily accessible and like affordable, people will buy it. And the same is true for movies, games, and retro games.
Media.
Right?
Yeah.
Media in general. If you make it easy and affordable to access,
if you
I
could,
will always buy it. But
if
if
you
it makes
could
it hard,
buy old
I'm gonna pirate
games on a Nintendo platform, I think a lot of people would do that.
100%.
Well, you can, but then that doesn't transfer to whatever the new platform is.
Right.
know what I
That's
mean?
what I mean.
That's
Like,
the problem. You buy it once, and then you buy it again, and then you buy it again,
Yeah.
and then you buy it again every
and
time there's a new
now
platform.
they make you have a subscription to
That's their dirty little secret, right?
get games you may not even want.
Like,
just to,
imagine selling a game again, even for any amount. Like when you sell a game for $50, you got to make that money back from the development costs and all that. That's why
Marketing,
it's
all that.
all that things, right? Imagine selling the game again for $10 without any of that underlying overhead.
Yep.
Like just a port over to the emulator that
you're-
exists on Switch.
and you're
All
being-
that's pure profit.
You're being
So-
generous on the price decline.
Yeah,
It'd be
right.
more like sell it now
$20
for 20, 30 bucks.
$29.99,
Yep. So
Like why would
luckily,
they?
Yuzu was open source.
Yeah,
And
so
so,
there's-
before the repositories were taken down, people did copy them. There's a few that are
Fork
up.
'em.
One's called New Zoo.
yeah, Newzoo.
Newzoo.
Another one is called Suyu.
Even
Nice-
better.
Nice play
Yeah.
in words there.
Newzoo.
Yeah.
So
Take down one.
Yeah,
you take down one terrorist, and
exactly.
20
That's
more
the thing.
pop up in its place.
Emulation stuff like this, it's like fighting a hydra. You cut a head off, another one or another two are going to appear. So it's not really going to be an issue
just
for
go
very
out-
long for users that want to emulate stuff.
I think
but-
the moral of the story is don't distribute, don't help people distribute, and don't make money off of it.
Yeah, I think that's where they got really
That's-
hosed was their Patreon. If they didn't have a Patreon up making money each month, I bet Nintendo probably wouldn't have gone after them. Or at least not as hard or not as soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
And they were pretty good with the community and kind of guiding people how to do it, which probably wasn't a good idea either.
Yeah. So there you go. Yuzu is dead. Long live Newzoo.
So, if you guys remember, a while back, I want to say a few months ago, maybe before Christmas even, we talked about the new Fallout TV show that's coming to
Yeah.
Amazon Prime.
Amazon, baby.
And about 3 months ago, they dropped a trailer. And I don't know if we actually talked about that trailer on the show.
We did.
Okay,
Either
so
way,
Jaron
I
says
didn't
we
watch
did.
and see this trailer until just today.
I think this is one of the trailers that Tony said, "Watch this. We're going to talk about it on the show."
No,
that
that
sounds
was not
right.
one of these.
That
Yeah,
sounds
that
right.
sounds like
This
Tony.
is, yep.
Okay, so
I
to be
knew
fair,
it.
when it comes to arcade, we all know Lando's a little lazy.
And it might have been a James episode. Let's just throw that out there.
Oh, it might have been a James.
Maybe that was what
episode.
happened. It was
You
that
know
one
what?
time
I think
James
that's
filled
what
in.
it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
Anyway,
okay. You get a pass on this one, Lando.
awesome. So I just saw the trailer today. So my feedback on the trailer is awesome.
Looks
I was
rad.
talking to Tony just a little bit before the show started that Fallout 4 is one of my favorite games of all time, and not because of the gameplay. It was because of the story. And one of the cool things I read about today that I'm actually pretty excited for, I think Tony might have a little bit of a different opinion on this, and that's okay. But they're actually, one of the creators of the show or the game is actually saying the show is going to be like Fallout 5, but without a gameplay element, which I'm okay with because the gameplay has always been my least favorite part of Fallout games. I'm always there for the story and the world building and all that good stuff. So
So-
anyway, I thought that was fun to talk about.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of this statement by the creator because I think half the fun or more of the Fallout games is the gameplay and the traversing the world and making the decisions that I want to make as I go throughout this world. And so I feel like taking that out of it is, you can't call it Fallout 5 then. Just call it a story in the Fallout universe.
Right.
Yeah, no, I get that point, Tony. But at the same time, all the Fallout games are all none of them relate to each other. They're all standalone games with standalone stories and
Exactly.
standalone stuff.
That's true.
So I'm okay with this being a standalone thing.
Fallout
Yeah.
Infinite, you know?
I think it's got a lot of potential. First
The
of all,
trailer looks so good.
they have a lot of good cast members. Secondly, it looks like they are spending the money to make the sets and the special effects and everything look good, which is key in a game like Fallout, where the other thing I love about Fallout is the world building and the setting and everything. And so if they nail that, then they're halfway there.
Well, and I think
So-
the pressure from the Last of Us TV show being so good, it's like, okay, it's possible to make good TV shows from video games.
Yep.
We have to live up to that. So if Fallout can live up to that, we're in for a treat.
Yeah, and it's one of those settings too where you can tell any kind of story you want. It's
Yep.
this huge, wide open, post-apocalyptic world where anything goes. You could tell a love story, you could tell a comedy, you could tell an adventure. It doesn't matter. It's just a fantastic setting for telling stories.
One of the things I noticed in the trailer today was either the producer of Westworld or the writer of Westworld or someone from Westworld is involved. And I love Westworld.
Yeah.
So
big
I'm
time.
super stoked about that.
I think it's executive produced by the
Yeah.
same people that did Westworld.
Either way, Westworld was great. So anyway, I missed the news on this one, so we're talking about it again because I want to.
When's it coming out?
April 12th, it's coming out. So I'm pretty
Oh,
stoked. That's right around the corner
That's like a month away.
on Amazon. Yeah, right around the corner.
Yeah,
February.
that's
Where,
what I'm saying.
where the freak did February go?
That's what
A
I'm saying.
month to an adult is like 2 days.
I was
to
gonna
a
say.
kid.
Yeah.
So
So
it's right there.
anyway, I'm pretty stoked about this. The other thing that was interesting about this article that I read is it's canon. So I think that was implied in what we talked about. So
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah. You could tell whatever story you want, and it could be canon because there's hundreds of vaults. So
Right.
do whatever you want. So exciting.
all right, and then last but not least, we have a PC spring sale.
Yeah, buddy. PC spring sales have begun. Green Man Gaming has started their spring sale, so go check that out if you want to find some good deals on Steam games. These are mostly all Steam codes. I think they do have some Epic codes in there too, so make sure you get the one that you want for the platform
Green
you
Man,
want to use.
does Green Man Gaming have its own launcher?
No.
Oh,
Nope,
okay.
They just
No,
they
you
just
redeem
deal
on
in-
Uplay or Steam or Epic or
okay.
Origin.
So their star deal right now, as we record this, is Back for Blood, which was a really neat game, or is a really neat game by Turtle Rock, the same people that did Left 4 Dead. And this is basically
91% off.
Left 4 Dead 3, and you can get the full game for $7.65.
Dave the Diver. Awesome.
Yeah, they got all kinds of stuff going on. I might pick up Helldivers 2 because that one is
So is it on sale?
17% off right now.
Okay, that's going to do it for me.
And it only starts at $40, so it's like
Yeah.
$32. So yeah, this is just the beginning. They always all the platforms do spring sales, so keep an eye out as time progresses over the next few weeks, and there'll be more
Just
more
what I
things to
need.
spend your money on.
More
Dude.
video games I
Thanks.
can't play.
I was
on
gonna say
new hardware that I can't touch.
more stuff to spend your money on that you don't have time to use.
The Elden Ring
Yeah.
DLC. The Elden Ring DLC's on there.
Oh, really?
Oh, what's the deal
12%
they
off
have
on that one.
35?
$35. Yeah, 12%
that
off.
would be an easy buy because that stuff never goes on sale once it's out.
That's true. There you go.
All right. Well, thanks, Tony, for that good news for us to spend money on with things we don't have time to play. And that brings us to the end of the episode. Big. Like, I can't stress it enough. Big shout out to our Patreon listeners. Without you guys, the show doesn't happen, honestly. The hosting fees, the little things you don't think about to make the show go round, you make possible. We can't thank you enough. So if you subscribe to our Patreon and pay us your shekels, there's some pretty cool bonuses you get. You get access to the super secret Discord channel, which I have not been active in because I don't get alerts on it. That's my bad. I will repent and be better. You get access to the in-between, which is pretty sweet. You get this show and the other show, the Help Desk show, early. Is that right, Tony? They release at the same time in one feed.
So
Early,
Help Desk-
ad-free, all combined in one feed.
Yeah, it's all
Right.
in one feed. So it releases the same time as Help Desk does. So you end up getting Arcade, which is the last half of the one full big show 2 days early.
Yeah, which is pretty sweet. So anyway, go pay us your money, get all those benefits
and
for
bragging
for
and
just
bragging
giving
rights.
us.
You know, bragging rights.
Yeah, none of those are tiered. You can be awesome and pay us $6 a month, or as
You
little as
get bragging
$1 a
rights,
month.
Jaron. Don't undercut us, Jaron. We get bragging rights no matter what level you subscribe at. You get these perks. So
That's right. You also get a shout out on the podcast, and Jaren's going to have that for us right now.
Thank you so much to David Broshinsky, Connor Keesaw, and Wiffleball Tony. You guys are the best.
Just the best.
Jason Eatman, Que onda, Cardinal? Control the future, not the now. Andy Bird, be the 8-year-old. Tony, the home theater geek. Travis Johnson, buy Geekshow Arcade Help Desk stickers at Pineman Graphics on Etsy. All proceeds go to Lee George Cade's medical bills. Jeremy, no name, no color. Caslo, Eric Steinman, Eric Cruz, ONS Tech Cred, plus 5.5. Matt Nelson, Harry Patch, Adam, Aaron Faulkner, Stuart Lloyd. History is there for you to learn from or repeat. Your choice. Ryan M. and Adam Hecht. Thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you, Jaren. Owen, take us out, buddy.
hey, we hope you care.